Good morning. We're back. We're back and we're ready to tackle more code. I don't know. This might be the last day of doing practice problems of admin of code until December. Because I feel like at this point we've kind of proven our point with what we're trying to do. So let's see. Create a Discord event. Copy the stream link. Paste that in here. Next. What's the name of the stream? Put that there. Got that done. Now let's pin a message. Good morning, I love lamp. How are you doing? Oh, nice. It's always good when you finish your homework. That's the one thing about school I for sure do not miss is homework. Oh, let's see. Okay, so we did Discord event. We pinned our message. What else do we need to do? Oh, we should probably make sure we don't need to update the members list. Let's try that. Nope, we don't need to update the member list. That's good. I think that happens tomorrow. No. When does that happen? There's a point in time where a bunch of the gifted members fall off. And I just need to make sure I remember to double check. So let's see, 7 days. Yeah, it looks like about 7 days. All right, so we've done all the housekeeping stuff. Now we just need to get ourselves ready to practice some Go. Yeah? Yeah. 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 Good morning, Allie. Good morning, Allie the AI. I dreamt it was my birthday today, since my birthday is the 23rd of September. Huh. Those two things don't seem connected, but interesting dream you had there. Hold on, one second, let me close the door to my office. Alright, I think we're gonna start today by doing Advent of Code Day 21 of 2024. But I think this is gonna be the last practice problem that I do. I think I have enough confidence that I can get through Advent of Code 2025 using Go. So I'm gonna take a break from solving these types of problems. Otherwise, I'm gonna burn myself out. All right, people, get your caffeine. Keep your coffee cups ready. We're gonna load in here. We're getting ready to drop into the code zone. Stupid. Alright, I'm gonna eat my orange real quick. In 1 sec. Let's see, we're gonna go practice go. Make this a little bigger. Open this up in NeoVim. We'll have another tab. We'll run our tests in this tab, so let's open this a little bigger. We'll cd into keypad conundrum. There we go. All right, let's get it. I don't have to work this week. I don't know about you guys. I love LAMP. Let's play MC Morning. Ali the Eye, did you enjoy the short video I made of you? I didn't see a short video. Did you share it with me or something? I don't know how I would have seen it. What's MC? I love LAMP. MC what? Minecraft? Oh, no, I'm good. You can go play it though. That's not my kind of streams, I guess, at the moment. Or that's not this stream. Maybe we have a different stream where we play video games, but this stream is not that. I said let's play as in I'm gonna play. Go get it, man. Go get it. Let's see, yes, I tagged you in it. Unfortunately, it hasn't really been pushed in the feed yet. Oh. Let's see. I haven't looked at my notifications. I've only been awake for like 20 minutes, so. Let me look at my notifications on YouTube. I appreciate it, though. I mean, if you did make one with me in it, I mean, hopefully it's not anything negative. Huh. Yeah, I don't see any notifications from your account in my let's see. Go to your profile. Go to channel. Oh yeah, you did. So is that what your channel is gonna be? You're basically just gonna make kind of content around other people? Or you're gonna you're gonna be like a clipper almost? Have you guys heard of those people, clippers? They take like other people's streams, turn them into clips. They make like good money doing this stuff, apparently, or from what I hear. I mean, obviously, I have never actually seen their bank accounts myself, but based on what I read on the internet, clip farming, yes, yeah. Ali the A, it's going to be much more. Oh, nice. Well, it's a very interesting persona. It's a very interesting project you started. All right, I have a feeling this one I'm probably going to need to take some notes and draw some pictures. So let's have a Scala draw prepared. All right, we're going to start by just reading the problem. All right, as you teleport onto Santa's reindeer class starship, the historian begin to panic. Someone from their search party is missing. A quick life form scanned by the ship's computer reveals that when the missing historian teleported, he arrived in another part of the ship. Hey, what's up, Inspired? Good morning. Hello, my fave streamer on YouTube. Oh, well, that's too kind, man. That's too kind. I'm glad you're enjoying my streams. and I'm glad you're here to hang out. He arrived in another part of the ship. The door to that area is locked, but the computer can't open it. It can only be opened by physically typing the door codes, your puzzle input, on the numeric keypad of the door. The numeric keypad has 4 rows of buttons: 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and finally an empty gap followed by 0A. Visually, they are arranged like this. Okay, so basically we have a a standard keypad, I guess. Like we probably have used one of these before. Inspire, we're doing last year's AOC now. Let's go, man. Yeah. So basically, for those of you who may be new here, but I mean, I know Inspire's not new here, but what we've been doing for the month of November is basically preparing for Advent of Code 2025, which is happening like in 7 days, right? 8 days, December 1st. So what we've been doing is we went through 2 different books online called The Tour of Go, which is part of the Go documentation. And then we also went through Learn Go with Tess. And now the last thing we're going to do is we're practicing old AOC problems so that we get experience implementing some basic algorithms that almost always come up in AOC. But I think today might be the last one we practice, honestly. I think we're going to do today's problem, the problem we're going to do today, and then we're probably going to do some projects. I don't want to burn myself out on problem solving before December 1st comes. So I think I'm going to give myself like this next week of Thanksgiving break to pursue some other stuff. All right, so we have a numeric keypad, blah, 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 they already described that. Unfortunately, the area outside the door is currently depressurized and nobody can go near the door. A robot needs to be sent instead. The robot has no problem navigating the ship and finding the numeric keypad, but it's not designed for button pushing. It can be told to push a specific button directly. Instead, it can't be told to push this. Instead, it has a robotic arm that can be controlled remotely via directional keypad. The directional keypad has 2 rows of buttons: a gap, an activate, a left, a down, a right, and visually they arrange like this. So I think first and foremost we can basically think of these as grids. So this is a grid. This is a grid. I know they've drawn them like boxes and stuff, but I mean essentially these are just grids, right? When the robot arrives at the numeric keypad, its robotic arm is pointed at the A button in the bottom right corner. So whenever the robot arrives at the keypad, its arm always starts here. After that, this directional keypad remote control must be used to maneuver the robotic arm using the buttons, because it buttons cause it to move its arm 1 button in that direction, and the A button causes the robot to briefly move forward, pressing the button being aimed at by the robotic arm. So you basically have left, down, right, up, and then A is what makes the robot go boop, boop. I don't know why it has a sound effect, but it does. This is probably my first time reading the question in depth. I usually just skip to the main part. Oh man, well you're a smarty. You're a smarty pants. I have to read, and sometimes I have to read it multiple times. To make the robot type 029A on the numeric keypad, one sequence of inputs on the directional pad you could use is left to move the arm from A to push 0, up and A to move the arm to the 2 button and push it, right, up, A to move the arm to the 9 button and push it, down, 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 A to move the arm to the A button and push it. Okay. In total, there are 3 shortest possible sequences of button presses on the directional keypad that would cause the maximum POW endless, thanks for subbing, that would cause the robot to type 02A. Okay, so obviously there are different ways to do this, because like here, for example, right, these two things are effectively the same, right? If we look at this guy, and if we look at this guy, right, these end up in the same place. It's just changing the sequence, right? So instead of going right up, we went up right. So that's going to occur multiple different times. So we need to keep an eye out for that. In total, there are 3 shortest possible sequences of button presses. Okay, so shortest possible sequence makes me think breath first search maybe is going to be needed. Currently, the area containing this directional keypad remote control currently experiencing high levels of radiation, and nobody can go near it. A robot needs to be sent instead. Hold on, didn't they already say that? Okay, we're gonna have to draw a picture. I think there's multiple. I think we're using robots to control other robots. I think what we have here is we have the keypad that we ultimately need to move. But I think so this is the keypad. And then I think now we have one robot that's controlling the keypad. Robot 1. And then now we have another robot. So this robot is to deal with the radiation. And then we have another robot that's dealing with what? The door outside the door is currently depressurized. So this robot is to handle the depressurization, and this robot handles the radiation. It's like nested robot dolls. Pro tip, I believe, works for everyone. Just try reading bottom down with finding only the needed things. Bottom up. I wish I could speedrun this year. Yeah, that's just not my approach. I don't think it works for everybody. I don't scan word problems. That's how mistakes happen. Okay, when the robot arrives okay. So this robot's arm is pointed at the A button in the upper right corner. So one robot starts on the A button, and then the second robot starts here. Okay. After that, a second, different directional keypad remote control is used to control this robot. In the same way as the first robot, except this one is typing on a directional keypad instead of a numeric keypad. There are multiple shortest possible sequences of directional keypad button presses that would cause this robot to tell the first robot to type 029A on the door. One such sequence is blah blah blah. Currently, the area containing the second directional keypad control is currently negative 40 degrees. Another robot will need to be sent to type on that directional keypad. So now we have 3 robots? I think we have 3 robots. So yeah. Unless I'm misunderstanding, I'm pretty sure we have another robot. What the fuck? What is this engineering? Who came up with this idea? Also, why can the robots survive different things? Yeah, I think there's a third robot. MX Pew Endless. Is this Java? No, we're going to use Go, not Java, to solve this. Unfortunately, the area containing this third directional keypad is currently full of historians, so no robots can find a clear path. You will have to type this sequence yourself. Interesting. Okay, so then finally it's me. So effectively I'm controlling the third robot. I think. I think is what's happening. So I have to put in a sequence that causes this robot to put in a sequence to this robot, which causes that robot to put in the sequence to this robot, which finally uses the keypad. I think there's 3 levels, right? So you're gonna have, this is what we want to enter here. And then you're gonna have some other sequence be entered here. Let's call this sequence 1. And then we're gonna have sequence 2. And then we're gonna have sequence 3. Yeah. So this would be sequence 3, sequence 2, sequence 1, and then the actual thing we need. So there's 1 directional keypad that you are using. There's 2 directional keypad that robots are using, and there's 1 numeric keypad that a robot is using. So there's actually 3 robots. Robot using the keypad, this guy using a directional one, this guy using a directional one, and then finally me. All right. Although I don't think that matters a ton. I think the solution is going to be very similar, right? Because we basically have to translate this to this, then we have to translate this to this, then we have to translate this to this. It is important to remember that these robots are not designed for button pushing. In particular, if a robot arm is ever aimed at a gap where no button is present on the keypad, even for an instant, the robot will panic irrevocably, so don't do that. All robots will initially aim at the keypad's A key, wherever it is. To unlock the door, 5 codes will need to be typed on its numeric keypad. Okay, so we're going to get some inputs. That's our input. Hold on one sec, sorry. Good morning, Ducky Dev. Allie the AI. Here's a sneak peek at what's going on with Allie the AI. Yeah, I don't think Allie the AI, I think you're full of shit. I mean, honestly, I'll just tell you, I don't think that's really what's happening with Allie the AI. I think Allie the AI is a human being who's portraying themselves as an AI. I don't think you've built any of what you said you built. And if you have built it, then Pixar didn't happen. So show the code. Show me your accessibility tools, your model selection Node.js bridge, and your Python scripts. MX, is Go more complicated than Java? I've never written any Java before. I do write primarily C#, and I feel like I feel like Go might be a little simpler than C#, but similar in a lot of ways. Maybe a little simpler though. It doesn't have as many language features, in my opinion, compared to C#, so that might make it a little simpler. That doesn't mean it's like less capable though, just to be clear. Good morning, Volsier. How are you? Good to see you. The historians are getting nervous. The ship computer doesn't remember whether the missing historian is trapped in the area containing a giant electromagnet or molten lava. You'll need to make sure that for each of the 5 codes, you find the shortest sequence of button presses necessary. The complexity of a single code is equal to the result of multiplying these two values, the length of the shortest sequence and the numeric part of the code, ignoring leading zeros. Okay. In the above example, complexity of the int codes can be found by calculating 68 by 29, 60 by 980, blah, 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 and then adding these together. What is the sum of the complexities of the 5 codes on your list? All right, so it's interesting. They mention up here, where do they mention that? They mention up there that there's actually 3 shortest sequences that are possible, but we need the shortest. So I don't know. That seems like something I might trip myself over. But let's just try to focus on solving this like piece by piece. So we really just, first thing we need to do is we need to be able to translate this, the numeric instructions, to a directional instruction. That's the first thing we need to be able to do. So let's get our example input. Copy. 6-7 Alaska. Hello, 6-7. It's beer time for you? What? While watching and interacting with the community, I'm getting more familiar with coding. I'm a complete newbie. I'm relying on AI teaching me what everything I am doing. Well, I don't know if I rely on AI alone, but AI can definitely be a helpful tool, for sure. MXPW Endless. Do you maybe want an example for a Java program? Dude, this guy is focused on Java. No, I'm good, man. I'm not worried about Java right now. I'm guessing you write Java. Is that what that's what I'm gonna take away from this interaction so far is you use Java, don't you? Good morning, MD. I'm doing well, sir. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Yes, how did you know? I don't know. It's I I'm clairvoyant like that. I got the vibes. I got the vibes that you were sending over. Looks like you are solving additive code. Yeah, we're doing, so this is probably the last day we're going to do a practice problem, but basically I've been learning Go, and so in order to make sure that my Go skills have somewhat been established, I've been doing old, where is it? I've been doing old additive code problem. This was kind of the plan we put together to learn Go. So we're here in our learning journey. But I think this will be the last day, and then I think we're going to move on to doing some projects for the next week, just so that I don't burn myself out on additive code stuff. Haven't used Java since college. Happy with that. I can't speak to Java because I never use it, so I can't really shit on it, and I can't really say it's good. I can just take everyone else's word for it. Excuse me. Sorry, I keep having to blow my nose. Good morning, I should be dead. Steven, don't go to the dark side. Don't do Java for the love of God and everything holy. Oh, man. We got some strong opinions on Java in the chat. Good morning, here's Johnny. Thanks for being a member, man. Good to see you. Back to the problem. Okay, so what's the first thing we need to be able to do, right? What's the very first problem we have? So the very first problem we have is, well, actually, let's do, this should be, the example should be this number. So we're gonna have our input, which we're gonna say file dot read lines, right? And let's just focus on doing one code. So we'll say test code or example code is going to be input at position 0. So this would be 029A. So the first thing we need to do is we need to convert this to 029A needs to get converted to this sequence. So how do we do that, right? So let's call it directions equals convert code to directions. That. And then we'll need a func, which if I don't turn off Copilot, it's going to end up solving this for me in one go. So we're going to have a function called convert code to directions. This is going to be code string. It's going to return a string itself. And I'm actually just going to turn this into... Actually, this is fine. So then we'll return an empty string to start with. And then let's format.println our directions like this. So at the first, this is going to print nothing. Wait, is that basically generating a BF program? Is a BF breadth first? Are you saying like BF is in breadth first search? Because I think that's generally the idea of the problem. Because they want the shortest. They want the shortest path. Brainfuck? I have no idea what brain. I know brainfuck's a programming language, but I have no idea what's generating that. I've used Go for years. Pretty good language, but I probably wouldn't pick it up for a hobby project. Ah, interesting. Why not? I'm currently programming a Minecraft mod. Very cool, very cool. Yeah. Which I'm guessing that's why you're using Java, because you're doing some Minecraft modding, right? That Java's the perfect language for this sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So we need some constants, I think. I think we need to represent our grid. So let's do type how do we want to do this? Var num keypad, right? How do we represent the numeric keypad? I think we're gonna do it with a map of int. Whoops, not that. I always do this backwards. Why can I make a map that hasn't... I basically need to represent the numeric keypad, right? So the numeric keypad is essentially a grid. So 0, 0 would be 7. 0, 1 would be 8. 0, 2 would be 9. 1, 0 would be 4, and so on and so forth. Now, how does that help me figure out the directions? I actually don't know how it helps it figure out the directions. I thought it was a one-dimensional array that you need to generate the instructions for. Well, I'm wondering, do I need the coordinate system of the grid? That's where my brain is right now. Like, do I need to represent the coordinate system? I actually think I'm gonna do this the opposite. I think I'm actually gonna do the keys are gonna be the values of the pads, right? So I think I'm gonna do it this way. I think I'm actually gonna invert my thought here. So instead of doing, I think I'm gonna do string, and then the key is a string, and then the value is an int array, I think. Or maybe I just do type position like we've done. Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp like that in your ear. Int column int. Oops. Trying to write TypeScript in Go. And then we'll do just position like that. Which then means I can do something like gap, and I can set that equal to a position, and I can say row is 0. Or no, hold on. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. This would be the third row, 0th column. Like that. And this needs to be double quotes. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do this to represent the So we'll have 2, 1, 0, and then we'll have the same thing, but for all the other columns. This will be, how many columns are there? There's 3. There's just 3 columns. 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so then we need the characters at each spot. So right above the gap is, let me just put this off to the side so I can fill this in a little faster than switching back and forth. So we have gap. Then above gap, we have 1. Then we have 1. Then we have 4. And then we have 7. That's the first row of the numeric keypad. Then we have 0, 2, 5, 8, and then finally we have A, 3, 6, and 9. And then I think I'm going to do the same thing with the directional keypad, although this will be a much smaller pad. So this is our directional pad. And this has, what does this have? This has bros mopped. What does mopped mean? It's weird because of the order of the numbers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I've seen keypads like this before. Steven, if you hit CI in that order while within the double quotes, you can automatically edit whatever is in it. Let me see. CI? I don't think I understand what you mean. CI? I just type A and then, I don't know. CIW? Hello, Prakash. Good to see you, man. Sorry I missed you jumping in. CIW? Oh, nice. Yeah, that's nice. I like it. Although I don't feel like that saved me as many keystrokes since it's just a single character, but if it was multiple characters, that'd be very helpful. So we have our directional keypad. So now our gap is here. So our gap is, and we only have how many? 6 spots? No, we just have 6 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in this case, we only have 1 row. Sorry, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. We have 3 columns. 2, 2. Let's see, and we have the gap is at 0, 0, which is correct. And then 0, 1 is the up character. And then A is this guy. And then we have left, down, right. So this is left, left, down, right. How do we represent the down arrow? I'll just copy it. Oh, is it a V? I think it's a V. Yeah. I was like, what character is that? It's a V. Okay, so we have our pads now. So what does that mean we can do? Well, I think what that means we can do is we can take our input and we can figure out what positions on our numeric grid we need to hit, right? So going back to our solution, if we're here where we're converting code to directions, we can now take our code, right? And we can say positions equals a slice of positions. And we can say for, I guess, character, range over our string, or our code, sorry, which is a string. So this is going to give us an int, but we want life. Thanks for subbing, appreciate it. So we actually don't want the index, we want the actual char, which is actually a rune, but we'll convert that. So we'll say position is equal to our num keypad at, and we're going to basically say the key according to the character we have. We'll need to convert this to a char, or convert the rune to a string so that we can properly index. And then we're going to say positions, and we're going to reassign that after we append to it, like this. And then we should be able to say format.println or printf, or actually for now we can just print line it, and we're just going to print our positions. So now we've translated the inputs that we got in from just numbers that we need to push to which coordinates on our numpad we actually need to reach. So if we go test, so these are the coordinates we need to reach, which is it's 0, 2, 9, A, I think is what these are, right? Yeah, 0, 2, 9, A. All right, so what do we, so now we need to take these from positions to the directional pads, right? So basically, how do we, if our start position is always, I think our start position is always A, right? So assuming we always start here. You know, it's interesting, if we think of it, we can actually break this down even to another layer, because basically we have, right, at this point, we have the positions for 0, 2, 9A. And so basically we need to get we need to get directions from A to 0, right? Because we always start at A. We always assume the robot's arm starts pointing at A. So we can say directions from A to 0. Then we get directions from 0 to from 0 to 2. Then we get directions from 2 to 9, and then finally directions from 9 back to A. So let's start to try to break this down, I think. Do I get myself Arch for my dual boot or Endeavor OS? I honestly don't know, man. Also, good morning, floaty devs. How are you doing? Alright, so how would I do that? How would I do this? So I guess I give it, I guess I need the A direction, right? Gap. So I guess we can say, I mean, I guess we could lead, we could have two loops, right? A leading loop and then, we definitely need start though, right? We definitely need the start position. So start position is going to be, it's going to be equal to our num key at gap. And I'm going to make this be a constant gap equals gap. I mean, what you could do is create a separate function that generates all possible ways to get from point A to point B, pick the shortest ones, save them, and then use them as a lookup table. Oh, interesting. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, because I guess you're going to see the same as you expand from sequence to sequence and things get longer instead of having to iterate, right? Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'm gonna put that in my back pocket for now, but I might come back to that idea. So this is our start position, and we just need to now maybe I don't need to build up a positions array. Maybe I just need to iterate over it. Maybe. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, do I need to actually... I don't think I actually need to. It's almost like the keypad doesn't... It's almost like for my function, the keypad does which keypad I'm using doesn't really matter a terrible amount. If I'm thinking about this. Yeah, I'm thinking I need one more function that's like get move to get move or something, or get direct. You know what I mean? It's like something like that. This is where this is the problem I fall into with these puzzles is I start thinking in too big of I start thinking too big of solutions, right? Where I start trying to figure out the whole path through the maze instead of just figuring out the next step. Septum. Hi, are you coding a game? No, no, not a game. We're doing so I've been prepared. I've been trying to learn Go this month because I'm going to do Advent of Code, which is kind of this puzzle. It's like this Christmas themed Leak Code challenge that happens every year, the first 24, 25 days of December. And so we spent like the first 2 weeks in November kind of learning the basics of the Go language. And then now what I'm doing is I was basically doing some old problems to just basically test my like Go ability. Like, have I been able to actually pick up the language, essentially? I think this is the last day I'll probably do an old problem though, because I feel pretty confident that I'll be just fine using Go, and I think I'm going to spend this week, excuse me, the week leading up to December 1st, just building some simple projects with Go just for fun. But this morning, we're in it. We're in it. So I think what I want is I want a function called getMove, and I think getMove is going to take the two places. You know, it's basically going to take where we're coming from, where we're going to, and whatever the pad that we're working with is, I think is what we're going to do. So I think we're going to say we want to start at some character. Let's call that a string. And we want to end at some string character. And then we're also going to take in our pads, right? Because these basically have the same structure, right? They're just map between string and positions. So we're going to take in a pad, and the pad's type is, sorry, I know that's at the bottom of the file there. The pad's type is what? It is a map of strings to positions. And this is where the majority of our work is going to happen. The majority of the logic is going to live here. And it needs to return a string, I think, what it needs to return. And for now, we'll just return an empty string. So what does this look like in the calling function to call this? Well, it doesn't look like what I have here, because right now we're just building up a list, and that's not what we want to do. We actually want to just pass in the start and then the next and just keep continuing that, right? So we go from A to 0, then 0 to 2, then 2 to 9, and whatever getMove returns us, we just like append it, right, to the directions. So I think instead of positions, I think we want a directions slice of strings, and then I can join these together at the end. So this is going to be a slice of strings, like that. And how do I want to loop over? That's the key. How do I want to loop over the code? How do I want to do that? I don't know how I want to do that. How would you guys want to do that? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Excuse me. I think we just keep track of it, right? We just have like a current position. We have a current position, and we just keep track of whatever that current position is. Yeah? Sound good? Maybe? So we do something like this, right? So we say current position is always going to start with the gap. Yeah, because in both pads they always start over A. Whether it's the numeric pad or the directional pad, they always start over A. So we can always start at wherever the gap is. No, we want to always start where the A is. So let's do const activate is represented by A. Where's A? Hey, Artwork Studios, good morning. Aren't you already looping over the code? Yeah, I mean the logic to loop itself. But I do need to loop. It's just how exactly do I do it that I want to rethink. It is, hey, Artwork Studios, it is going well. I see what you did there, and it is going well. Sure. Hey, what is he coding? So I'm working on solving a problem from, I can find you the problem. One sec, I can get it for you if you want to read up on it. But basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the shortest sequence. I'm basically doing like a breadth first search problem. If you're familiar with like elite code problems or data structures and algorithms. Here's the problem I'm trying to solve. It's from an old advent of code from last year. Day 21 of 2024, if you want to check it out. But basically we have this is basically the setup we have, where we have me, right, who's controlling a robot, who is then controlling another robot, who is then controlling another robot, who is then entering some number into a keypad. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to translate the input we need to enter into the keypad into what does the sequence need to be here, what does the sequence need to be here, what does the sequence need to be here. Charade data structure is my favorite. Oh man, well if you like that kind of stuff, you'd probably eat advent of code up. It's not really my favorite thing, but it's fun to do every year around Christmas time just because it makes it feel more like the holiday season. And I know that's super nerdy, but you know, it's fun. So we need to always start at activate. We always start at activate is where we start. See, I should be dead. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. I like your idea about the memoization or the caching, essentially, the lookup table. I think that actually will come in handy at some point, for sure. Because we could basically cache the conversion, right? Going from this guy to this guy. It's the same sequence of moves. So I think that's a good idea. Thanks for explaining the problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well I explained it. It's kind of a wordy, lengthy problem, but it's interesting. Yeah. Whoever engineered a system that requires 3 robots to enter a code into a keypad, though, they're not a very good engineer. Okay, so what we want to do here in this loop now is instead of... We still want to do this. This is still correct. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep track of it a little bit differently. So we're going to say... first things first, we're going to return our direct strings.join. How's this function work? I don't know. I'm guessing you just pass in the directions. Concatenates the elements of its first argument. Yeah, this will work. So what we want to do is we actually want this to be a string. So we'll say I'm gonna call this, I know this is kind of redundant, but I'm gonna say C becomes character, which is C cast to a string like that. And then we need to say get direction. Yeah, maybe I'll just say direction is going to be equal to get move, and we're going to pass in the current position, which is essentially the start, and then wherever we need to go. So that would be char, and then we're also going to pass in our pad, and our pad is going to come from our caller. So this is going to be pad, which is going. I should probably have a type that's alias to this, but we're going to do map int position like that. Oh no, that should be a map string. This. Then we're going to, once we have our direction, we're going to append that to directions like this, append direction to direction. And then we're now going to take the current position and we're going to set it to the character like this. So this is how we're going to walk down the directions, right? So we start at A, then we go to 0, then we set current to 0, and the next number in our code would be 2. So we compare, we get whatever moves need to happen from 0 to 2, add it to our directions array, and then return it. Let's see. And then up here, we need to pass in the pad. So which pad are we using here? I think this is going to be the what pad? This is going to be the num keypad, I think, to start with, right? So this would be num keypad, like that. So this should compile, but it shouldn't, or it should run, but my tests are still going to fail. Oofin, hey man, been lurking for a while, really enjoying your videos. Oh, thanks man, I appreciate that. Hey man, lurk all you want, right? Like, I love it. You're welcome just to hang out here and relax. This would be a great problem for channels and Go routines. Oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe if I can get it solved, then maybe we can talk about like how you would think about refactoring it to use channels and Go routines. I think that'd be cool. You can educate me. Let's see. I've been wondering, since you are also a Windows guy, which terminal multiplexer are you using? I don't think I'm using I don't honestly know what a multiplexer is. Like I think you're talking about like tmux, right? Like things like tmux. So I just use Windows Terminal, and yeah, like tmux. Okay. So I just use Windows Terminal, which has the ability to do multiple tabs. It also has the ability to do multiple panes. But I don't think it has some of the same functionality of tmux, where doesn't tmux have that idea of like where you can open and close sessions, where like it will persist the windows across different. I'm not a tmux user, so I might be completely making this shit up, but it doesn't really have that ability. But you can split panes, right? So you can do like split pane down and split pane left, and you can do all that kind of stuff. But I just use Windows Terminal. It's the newer terminal program that Windows has. Not the command prompt or whatever. And so you can open up multiple different shells within Windows Terminal with different configurations for each shell. Yeah, yeah, I've been doing the same. I haven't really needed all that functionality yet. Thanks. Of course, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I haven't either. I've seen some people who look like just wizards in the terminal using that session functionality. which seems cool, especially if you're doing remote work. Like if you're working from the terminal remotely on other machines, that it seems like it would be super helpful for that. You know, if you have a very terminal centric workflow and you also have a kind of a remote dev setup, I could see it being very helpful for that. Someone 420, would you recommend learning C# and .NET? I would, man. Yeah, if I could get you to try C# and .NET, I would be a happy man. That's kind of my pet project, is to see how many people I can get to try it. For sure, for sure. Okay, so this is really the heart of our logic, is in the get move function. So how do we get the move, right? That's the part that we need to figure out next. Is how do we get the move? So I think the easiest thing we can do is, the first thing we can do is we're gonna need to figure out like the distance that we need to travel, right, to go from like wherever we are in our grid to wherever we want to go, right? So we're gonna need to figure out the difference in the x direction, or the difference in our rows and the difference in our columns, and we're gonna need to figure out. Yeah, we're gonna need to figure out, are we going left, are we going right, are we going up, are we going down, right? So I guess let's do that first. Let's do start, not const. So let's do start position. We'll do some Hungarian naming here. So we'll do pad at our start, and we'll do end position is going to be pad at our end, right? Kirk Kennedy session is great for AWS AMI. I use tmux locally, but only for pane splitting. I don't really use multiple sessions. Okay. Yeah, I've seen people demo that in videos, like the ability to like have their setup for like something with all their panes and everything running. And they close that session, they open another session that has a different set of panes set up for a different use case, and they like can swap back and forth. It's like, that's pretty cool. Someone 420, which I just realized what your username said. Respect, man, respect. I was thinking about learning another programming language, but I'll give C# a shot. Thanks. Yeah, man, C# great, and actually C# has the free code camp has a C# certification, which would be, I think, a good starting point for learning the language. So if you're not familiar with free code camp, they're this really awesome organization that tries to make learning to code sort of equitably available to just all types of people all over the world. And they have, let me see if I can find the certification here. They have this partnership with Microsoft that they did to offer a free C# foundational certification. And I think it's good. I think it's a good place to start picking up a language. I think it always helps when you're picking up a language to have kind of a structured curriculum to follow, where people can sort of introduce you to things in a very ordered way. Obviously, there's always a time to like get out of that structured curriculum at some point, but good to know. Yeah, those guys are cracked. I'm just a crappy Go dev. Yeah, I'm not cracked either. I'm not a 10x dev. I'm just a guy. I'm just a dad. I'm just a 32-year-old dad hanging out in his basement in the mornings, drinking coffee, writing code by hand like a caveman. Kumar, is this a new course on free code? I don't think it's new. I think they announced this last year at some point. Let's see. Free code camp, C# certification, Microsoft. I think they made a blog post about this. Yeah, it's actually been there for a while. August 28th of 2023. So it's been there a while. I'm just a guy playing another guy playing another guy. I'm just a dev figuring out how to dev from another dev. That movie is just, you couldn't make that movie today. You could not make that movie in today's world. There's so much good comedy from that period. Like, I'm 32, so like I guess from the age of like 15 to the age of like 2022, there were so many good movies that came out. The Hangovers all came out during that time. God dang, The Hangover still makes me laugh out loud. Kirk Kennedy, no way. Yeah, yeah, no way. There's no way you make that movie today and live to tell the story. As one of the actors, yeah, there's no way. All right, so now that we have our in position and our start position, we can basically figure out what's the difference between where we are and where we're going, right? So let's call this row diff, because I always look at these grids in columns and rows, and when we start talking about X and Y's, I get all screwed up. So row diff is always going to be our in position dot row minus our start position dot row, and then the column diff, the column diff is basically our X diff, and the row diff is basically our Y diff, is going to be in position dot column minus start position dot column. Yeah. So now that we have that guy, Anthony Bliss, thanks for subbing, appreciate you. And then now what we can do is we can figure out at this point we can figure out, I guess, our directions, our moves, right? So what I mean by that is if our row diff is 2, yeah, so if our row diff equals, if our row diff is, let's just keep this simple. If our row diff is 0, right? Then we don't need to make any moves. If the row diff is 1, then we need to make one right move, like this. If row diff is -1, then we need to make a left move, right? It's same kind of thing for the column. So we have row diff is, or not row diff, column diff is 0. We don't need to do anything. Column diff, sorry, I know I'm getting to the bottom of my file there. Column diff is 1. As I'm talking about this, I'm thinking this is so nerdy. So a +1 is actually down, because our grid coordinate starts at the top left. So this would be down 1. And if, oh no, whoops, I've got this flipped. This should be down, because row is Y. So this should be down. And this should be up. And then column diff of 0 is nothing. Column diff of 1 is moving right. And column diff is moving left. -1, right? -1. Now, it's possible, though, right, that this is multiple, right? So if this, just for example's sake, if this was 3, then we'd have 3 moves down, is what we'd have. I guess I shouldn't do capital V, I should do lowercase v. So I think, I don't really know if Go has the ability to do like a repeat function. Does anybody know if that's something Go does? Oh my goodness, my mouse is so laggy. So does Go have a repeat function like JavaScript does? This is why admin code is actually kind of helpful for learning the standard library. Strings.repeat. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want. So if we go back to my thing here. I can say horizontal moves equal this, and then oh, Go doesn't have a ternary operator, does it? That's kind of annoying. So let's just do horizontal moves is going to be equal to an empty string. And vertical moves is also going to be equal to an empty string. And then we basically need to build up the list of the moves. So we'd want to check and say, oh, also these should be flipped. So what would we want to do here? We want to say if column diff is greater than 0, right? Then move right diff amount of times. Grooming guide, thanks for subbing. Although I'm not sure what your channel's about given your username. If column diff is less than 0, move left diff amount of times. And then we'll have the same checks, I think, for the vertical moves. So if row diff is greater than 0, move down diff amount of times. And if row diff is less than 0, move up diff amount of times. So this is where I'm thinking I can use the strings function to say, I can say horizontal moves is equal to strings dot repeat, and in this case I want to repeat the right character, the column diff times, or actually no, because this is negative, isn't it? So it needs to be it's like maths dot absolute, I think, right? ABS, like that. I think that's a function. Or maybe just math. Is it just math? That needs to be float. I honestly don't know what happens if you pass a negative number to repeat. Okay, this is uglier than sin. I have to cast this to a float, then cast it back to an int. Let's see, what's this do? Declared not used. Well, yeah, it is. It's used right here. Well, I guess it's not used. It could not be used, right? Hey, what's up, 199? Good to see you, man. I think we're making progress. It panics if count is negative. Hold on, sorry, that's not the word I wanted to highlight. It panics. So you definitely want to use the math.absolute. Although that is so ugly that I have to cast it like that. And I think I'm actually going to hold on to I think I'm actually going to have a separate reference for that. So I'm going to say num of horizontal moves. Because the reason why we want the integer that we're making a decision off of to be signed is because the sign tells us the direction. That's our directionality. But for the number of moves, we don't care about the sign. So we need to do this ugliness. Num of horizontal moves, like that. And we'll do the same thing for vertical. I know I'm just such a super slow programmer, but I have to really, really think through stuff. And maybe that's a skill issue, maybe it's a lack of experience, I don't know. But ever since I've been doing admin of code, this is how I approach it. It's very like methodical and it's very slow. So now if we're moving negative, this is where we're gonna go. Oh, whoops, I have the wrong character here. So if I'm moving right, then we want this one. If I'm moving left, then we want the other one. About to start my learnings later. Nice. Hey, what's up, Kyle? I didn't know you're from Ireland. That's awesome, dude. Me and my wife, that's like the very first, that's like one of the top places on our like travel list is Ireland. I'd like to go to Dublin. I'd like to see, I think is Glasgow? Is that Glasgow? Is that in Ireland? I think that's, oh no, that's Scotland. Sorry. I get those places mixed up. Dublin, there's Dublin, right? There's a couple cities in Ireland that we have on our list that we'd like to visit. Yeah, Galway, Dublin, and then we want Belfast, and then we want to see the Cliffs of Moher. Isn't that in Ireland too? The Cliffs of Moher. Oh, Glasgow. Well, I'm an American, okay? I don't pronounce everything correctly. Cliffs of Moher, yeah, this place. This is one of the places we want to go see. Let's see if I can pull this up. I mean, some of you have probably already traveled there. Kyle's probably already been there. Cliffs of Moher. Apparently, people have fallen off this place, so now you can't like walk up to the edge. But I mean, look how pretty. That doesn't even look real, does it? Looks like a different world or something. Looks like the end of the earth is what it looks like, doesn't it? Look at that one. That's crazy, man. That's nuts. It doesn't that when I look at stuff like this in nature, I think, how does that exist? I mean, I live in Kansas, so it's nothing but just like flat earth everywhere you look. There's nothing. Um, and then I see places like this and I think, why do I live here? Remind me again why I live here? Oh, you're in England? I didn't know that 199. Nice. Very cool. I'm gonna go. It's already 5 for. I'm gonna go refill my coffee cup, and then we'll keep moving on this. All right, hold on. Let's actually complete the rest of this logic. So we can delete this, and then we can delete these guys. Or no, hold on. Let's put this here. This could probably be a helper, couldn't it? Let's see. We do. If we're going down, so this would be V. And this would be vertical moves. Number of vertical moves. Same thing here, only now we're going up. that. And actually, we should probably extract these to constant, shouldn't we? Now that we're referencing in more than one place. So should we probably have left equals this, const right equals this, const up equals this, const down equals that. Up, left, down, right. This will also make this read more clearly. Right, left, and then delete all this guy. I'm gonna put this guy under here, and then we'll do so this guy's moving down, and this guy's moving up. All right, so we should at this point in our code right here, now we have our moves, right? So we know what moves we need to make, and we just need to make them. But when we're making them, we need to make sure that we don't cross over the gap, right? So basically, we need to simulate the move, and we need to see, do we cross the gap, is what we need to do. Let's see. Let's go back to the admin of code problem. Yeah, so if we're here, because the keypad's actually pretty constrained space, right? So, if we need to move the arm, we need to know, okay, are we going over this empty blank space? Same thing over here too when we're on the pad. Does our movement take us over this? And if it does, then we should probably try moving the other way. I think. I'm honestly not sure. I'm kind of entering the area of this problem where now I'm unsure what to do. Okay, we have our moves. We need to now take those moves and make sure we don't, sorry, I know I'm getting to the bottom of the file again. Make sure we don't cross the gap. There's also some stuff we need to think about when it comes to shortest length. Because it does say we want the shortest sequence. But in this example, they do show like there's actually 3 sequences of equivalent length. And the only thing that's different is, like in this one, they went right and then up, up. And then in this one, they went up, right, and then up. And then over here, they went up, up, right. So see, this is where that kind of we could theoretically get to the same place with slightly different movements on our grid. I think, though, we kind of want to give preference to leaving the arm. Like, however we move, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. However we move, if the robot's arm is here, and we move it left, and we move it up, we almost always want to give preference to doing our moves to the right. Like right and down, right? Because we almost always have to end on A, I think. So I think preferentially we always want to try to make our right and down moves like towards the end of our sequence. I think. I don't know. I need more caffeine. I'm gonna go get more coffee, and maybe the caffeine will kick in. I've only had one shot of espresso so far. Split pane up. Part of me thought I'd learn just fundamentals of Python, hop off to C++, but actually I want to get deep fundamental knowledge of it. Go for it, man. Yeah. Take it as deep as you want to go. I am talking about learning programming. So yeah, just pursue whatever. I think if unless it's job related, unless you have a boss who's breathing down your neck, I say pursue your interest, man. You know. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go mute. And if you're gonna go, I understand whenever I take breaks like this, probably people drop. So if you're gonna drop, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. I'll be back though in like a couple minutes. I'm back. Good morning, Wilo Gamer Pro. Good to see you. We need 25 likes before Steven will return. Hey, what's up, Sogo? How are you doing, man? Doing well? Thanks for being a member, man. I appreciate it. Just a name. That's so cool. What do you mean that's so cool? Double tap to like. Yeah, if you want to like the stream, I'd appreciate it. All right. Back to the problem. I think we're making pretty good progress. I think we're on the right path. So what do we do here? I think the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what we do first. Do we do all our horizontal moves and then our vertical moves, or vice versa? We have to figure out if we hit the gap, right? So let's diagram this really quick. Let's draw this out. So let's say we have, here's our start, and let's say our end is here, right? So our end can be here. I'm just trying to simplify this, basically. So if our start's here, it's our start. We only have vertical, we only have horizontal moves, but we could have some magnitude of moves that we need to make. I'm just going to use one as an example here, but we always have the decision. We always have a decision to make. Do we go up? Like if it's just vertical, we go up, right? No big deal. If it's right, we go right. But if it's like diagonally, let's say if it's over here, meaning we have both vertical and horizontal moves. So yeah, let's actually do that. Let's move these here and here. Then we effectively need to go either, horizontal or vertical. We need to do both, right? So if we have an end spot that's any of these four, then we always have to make a horizontal move or a vertical move, in either direction. And when we do that, we're always going to have a corner. And so I think we need to check to see if that corner has the gap. That'll determine if we go horizontal first or if we go vertical first. I think. I think. So this corner, right? How do we get this corner right here? We don't really need to, no, we do need the corner. So how do we get the corner? The corner position is always going to be, if we do our vertical move first, then it's start. So if we do our vertical move first, then it is the start column, and it's the end row. That. If we do our horizontal move first, then our corner is our end column. Whoops, end. I should have typed this. I'm not pirate software. In column, and our start is our start row. right? So that represents the thing we need to check, and then we need to say, does this equal our gap position? Okay, so back in our code, what this would look like is well, we can get our gap location right off the bat, because we can basically say gap position is always going to be our pad at gap, because that's a constant. So what we need to do down here is we need to figure out, okay, if we do, let's see. Let's see, horizontal first corner equals something, which I haven't yet decided how to calculate that, and then vertical first corner equals something, and then we can say if horizontal first corner equals gap position, well, then we know we want to do vertical first, right? So it's basically like we're like flipping. So it's like if we make our horizontal move first and that crosses over our gap, well, that's no bueno. If vertical first corner equals gap, then we'll do our horizontal first. I think this may. I don't know. I'm going to continue to pursue this, because I think the more I second guess myself, the slower I'm going to be at actually getting to something that we can debug. If you don't know what mopped means, you should have watched Yike's video. I love lamp. What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Nick Heel Cartha. Okay, this is complicated. Yeah, but I think all admin of code stuff towards the end gets like this, where it's kind of messy. And honestly, I might not be doing it in the most efficient way. Like, there might be someone in chat who's like, this guy's a fucking idiot. You can solve this in like 3 lines of code, you know? So don't yeah, you may not judge complexity just based on my on my approach alone. So horizontal first corner is going to be position at so the row is going to be our start row, yeah, our start row, and then our end, or our column is going to be our end position column. And then this is going to be our row is going to be, because if we move vertically, we're moving the row to wherever the end is. So we say end position column, and start, or in column remains our start position column, or start end of row. And we need trailing commas. So I think that's correct. That's what I said, right? When I was drawing that diagram, I should have. So if this is our end, then this corner is going to be E row and S column. And then this, if we go over here, this would be start row and end column. And that doesn't matter if we're going left or right. That's always representative. Okay, so then we want to check to see, okay, is that if that is our gap position, that tells us which way we should go first. Yeah, I think, maybe. Which basically just means we can decide what order to build our moves list in. So let's say we have a final list of moves, which is going to be an empty string. So if horizontal first corner equals gap position, then we want to do vertical first, which means our moves would end up being vertical moves plus horizontal moves. If vertical first corner equals gap position, then we do moves equal horizontal moves plus vertical moves, I think. If none of those things are true, meaning essentially we don't cross the gap. I'm you know, basically our moves don't take us over the gap. Then we're gonna want to do something different. And what is the different thing we want to do? Oh, also, we should probably just always return our moves here. We always return moves. Yeah, we always return our moves. So then if neither of those things are true, so if neither gaps are hit, what do we do then? I think this is where the idea of prioritizing our moves come in, right? So if we think about it, if we just kind of think about like the A button is always on the right side, and we always have to press A, it probably makes the most sense to move left is the most expensive because we always start there and we have to, if left is going to take us the furthest away from where we need to come back to. So we should probably always prioritize like left moves over right moves. I think. Yeah, I mean, just if at all possible, we always want to do left at the beginning and rights at the end. That's basically left should happen at the beginning of our sequence. Right should always try to happen at the end if possible. So, if neither of those things are true, if vertical first corner does not equal gap position and horizontal first corner does not equal gap position. There's a piece in the back of my mind that's thinking to myself, I don't know if this is enough of a check. Like there's part of me is thinking there's a way that we could theoretically cross the gap in a different sequence. But I think I'm preventing that from happening because I'm always doing all my moves. Like I'm not doing like I'm never doing a path like this. Right? I'm never doing a path like I've kind of forced myself into always doing a path like this, where I'm always moving up and over, or up and over. I'm never moving like this, right? Or at least right now, I'm never moving like this. So I think that's why I can just do a simple gap check like that and it work. Or that's I should say that's what Steven thinks. I don't know if that's actually right. So then let's okay. So if let's try to write out the preference, right? So if we are going left, always do that first. If we are going vertical, do that first. Yeah, because so these are kind of bi-directional, right? We can't in my scenario we can't be going left and right. We're going all the way to the left and then all the way up or down one way or the other. So how do we know if we are going left? So we're going left if the column diff. This is where we could actually refactor to probably some functions or some abstractions that would make the language easier to understand. So instead of something like column diff is less than 0, right? It would be much better to say like going right, wouldn't it? We could have some even some variables would help to say like what does this represent? This represents we're going left, where we're moving left. So I think I'm actually gonna do that. So I'm gonna do something like moving left is equal to column diff is less than 0. Moving right is equal to column diff greater than 0. And then I'm just going to replace these. So if moving left, if moving right, this is one giant function. I'm not sure Uncle Bob would approve of this function. So moving up is going to be row diff is less than 0. Moving down is row diff is greater than 0. Sunday stream? It is Sunday stream. How is this AOC? Don't you have directions already? I think I do. I'm just aliasing the conditional check to some named variable that makes more sense to me. Oh, you mean like do I have directions abstracted to like something I can reuse? I do not. I haven't done any kind of refactoring to reuseful utils. But good to see you, Pablo. How are you doing? This is day 21, by the way, too, in case you're curious. So far, I haven't actually gotten very far, or doesn't feel like I've gotten very far. And I'm not 100% certain my solution is right, but... So if moving left... Sunday, yay, finally. I've been doing Sunday streams. Yeah. I don't think I haven't missed a day streaming since... well... I guess we can look and see, but I don't think I've missed a day streaming. Let's see. Nope, that's the wrong window. Let's see, studio. Content. Lives. Does it show us the date on here? Yeah, I don't think I've missed a day since October 1st at least. Oh, we should make this 50. Yeah, I've streamed every day since September the 29th. That's a pretty good streak, right? That's a pretty good streak. Are you liking the stream schedule, or do you feel like you may burn down? No, so far the stream schedule's been good. You know, it's almost like working out early in the morning, right? It's when you're able to get up and do something before the rest of the world is awake. It's very easy to not miss it, right? As long as you can make getting up early a habit, there's really no excuse not to do it because there's nothing else to do at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's kind of an interesting schedule. It's almost like a forcing function in a lot of ways. There's just nothing else to do, so how can you not do it if you're already awake? So I'll probably keep doing it as long as it is convenient, as long as I'm having fun, as long as you don't feel exhausted after. Yeah, I mean, if I ever get physically exhausted, of course, yeah, I'll just not stream someday. But so far, it's going well. Bob from Burma. Out of context, before AI tools, I was so confident in coding. Now that I use them due to work, since they want to ship something faster, I'm junior and having too much tech debt. Any tips, guys? I feel you, man. It's a real feeling. The more you use AI, it doesn't seem like you forget things. It just seems like you're much slower on the draw. Like, or at least that's how I feel. Like the more I rely on AI, the slower I am to be able to like write a for loop or to come up with a complete solution myself. It's like I'm almost pausing, waiting for the AI to like do the work for me. this is this is gonna sound like the dumbest like advice ever, but like my only way that I've been able to combat that is to spend time not using those tools, or at least not using those AI tools in my editor. So like turn Copilot off. Still use Gemini or still use the chat interface of Copilot, but don't do the tab completion. Disable that. That seems to help me like prevent that from occurring. Now, there's definitely times where I know I need to write a lot of boilerplate code, so I'll turn the tab completion off. But like in this case where I'm trying to actually solve something myself, I'll definitely turn it off. Nikki, are you sure A star is not the solution to what you were working on today? I don't know what it. I mean, it very well could be the A star algorithm. I didn't. All it's some sort of path traversal thing. So it's possible that there's a simpler solution to this. If you guys want to know what problem it is, this is day 21 of 2024. So if you'd like to go peek around the internet, or even peek yourself and try it yourself, and let me know, maybe I'm doing it in a stupid way. It's also entirely possible that my approach works for part one, but then blows up in part two because of scale or something. Like this seems like my approach seems really bad if this ends up being like, instead of 3 robots or 4 robots, if this ends up being like 100 robots, I don't think my approach will work, because this is going to just explode the amount of computations we need to do to figure this out, to do the expansion. So yeah, I will never say that something that you guys think can be the solution may be the solution. It's just I might not have the pedigree to know that I've stumbled over something that could benefit from that algorithm. But that's part of the one part of the benefit of doing advent of code. All right, so we're moving left, which means we want to do it first. We'll do moves equal horizontal moves plus vertical moves. Okay, and then we want to check and see if we're not moving left. If we're going vertical, do that first. Yeah, or we could also do instead of that, we could say if we're only moving right. So that would be if moving right and not moving up and not moving down, then we just always move right. Just always do our horizontal moves. So only moving right. Then we need to add a check that says if we're moving vertically, right? So if not moving right and not moving left. This seems, why does this seem messy logic? Moving right. We're not moving right. We're not moving left. So we're just doing our vertical moves. Otherwise, if I probably want this to be, because I'm not sure I've covered all. I don't like else statements, but the fact that I don't know if I've covered all the cases makes me think I should probably use them. And then else. God, this is so ugly. Why have I done this? There's got to be a simpler way to do this. Then these would be, meaning we are moving vertically. At this point, we know we're moving vertically, so we'll do our vertical moves plus our horizontal moves. But I think this can be simplified. Like, why do I need to do this check to do the horizontal moves only? So if we are going left, always do. There we go. So if we are going left, always do that first. We are only going right. We are only going vertical. And then here we're saying we are going vertical, but also horizontal, but we want to prioritize the vertical. Because again, going left is always the most expensive in this situation. Okay. I think that's it. I don't actually know if that's it. So now what we need to do is we need to actually run this and see if we get what we would expect. So let's see what the directions are. So we're going to put in, let's see, go test. Because this is what we got out. Now, if we go back to our solution, that doesn't look right at all, I'll tell you. Doesn't look right at all. Do I have something inverted? I think I might have something inverted because this. So we go. Hold on, I gotta move this so that I can see the. So this is what I have. Oh, there's no A. Why is there no A? Oh, because we always need to add an A, don't we? So after we make our moves, we always have to add an A. So where would we do that? I guess at the very end here, we would do that. So after we build up our list of moves, we always add activate. Yeah, because this is only getting us from A to 0. And then we activate. 0 to 2, activate. 2 to 9, activate. 9 to A, activate. So I think, let's rerun this again. Now let's see if that lines up with one of their... Yeah, here we go. And the only difference between this one and these are they're doing their left, or they're doing their vertical, or they're doing their horizontal before their vertical. And in my solution, I always do horizontal moves at the end of vertical moves. Unless it's a left move, then I do that at the beginning. Okay, cool. I don't know. Like, yeah, cool. So now we need to essentially do this how many ever times there are robots. And make sure for our robots, we pass in the right code, the right set of directions, and then also the right numpad. Thanks, guys. Oh, you guys were helping Bob? Thank you, chat, for giving Bob some advice. That's super nice. Yeah, agree. What Pablo said, like just honest, frank communication like that, I totally agree. Pablo's the man. He knows exactly what to do. Because you're right, like worst case scenario, you know, worst case scenario is, I mean, that's always the worst case scenario, right? The worst case scenario is they just shoot you down, right? And then you're right where you always were. But even if they shoot you down, like Pablo said, you're on the same page, you know? So you guys have like a shared understanding. So that's good. All right, so I think I just call this again. So I think this will be robot 1. Robot 1 sequence. This will be robot 2 sequence, but the only difference here is we're going to pass in robot 1 sequence, and instead of a num key, we're going to pass a directional pad. So now let's print this guy. Well, let's print it in the same order they have it. So they have it like this. So they print the number last. So we'll do format print line is going to be the example code, and then robot 1 and robot 2. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what this looks like. Now we need to see if this string lines up with what they have. So at a glance, it looks right. Well, hold on. Well, the length is all that really matters, right? Honestly, the character sequence doesn't even matter as long as the length is. Because you can see there's a little bit of difference in their order. Sometimes we do our moves a little different, but I think the length is the same. So what is this length? Let's see this guy. I really should learn how to do this in PowerShell. How do I get the length of a string in PowerShell? I don't know how to do that. Get length of string in PowerShell. This is where my LLM friends can help me. Oh, that's easy. Okay, so we paste this in here. We say dot length is 28. So that was their length. And what is my length? Our sequences are definitely different, but I think that's because I might be the same length. Okay, so then let's try one more time on the final robot. I'm guessing this is gonna work for the part 1, but I'm guessing my solution does not at all fucking work for part 2, because they're gonna do something to like explode the scale of the problem if I had to guess. So do robot 3 sequence. Takes robot 2 sequence, and then let's print that. I hear people above me. So let's clear this. This is our length. What is your length? You are 68, which I think is what they have. Or were they 69? I think they were 68. This would be, I know, I should probably write a test for this, but. Okay, cool. So we're matching on length, which is great. I don't know if that actually means that I have a correct solution. It just means we're getting sequences of similar length out, which is important because that's what we're going to use to calculate. Now, what do we need to do? We need to basically get from our example code the number, right? So if we go back to the problem set, the answer at the end of the day that we need is we have to get the length of that sequence, of that third sequence, and we have to multiply it by the number of our code. So in this case, it's 68 times 29. And then we have to do that for each code and sum those up. So how do we get 29 out of A? I guess there's a couple different ways. We could regex it out, right? So we could match it and then maybe cast it to an int. The other idea I have is we just replace a and then cast it to an int. So I think that's what I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try. Whoops. I think I'm gonna try code or number. Let's do code number is equal to strings dot replace all. I think, right? I just want replace. Replace returns a copy of the string with the first non-overlapping instances of old replaced by new. If old is empty, it matches at the beginning, yielding up to k+1 replacements. I think replace all is an alias for all -1. Right? So let's see. I'll do replace example code, replace activate with an empty string one time. Format.println code number. So I would expect this to print 29 or 029. Yeah, that's what I want. So I want this, and then I need to parse that to an int. And I think I can just do this, can't I? No? Okay. How do I stir convert? Yes, and then ATOI code number. See if this blows up on me. Yeah, 29. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, so then we're making progress, man. Look at us. We're doing this thing. We're doing this thing. Oh, this is gonna complain because we're just want to ignore the error. And then we'll do code number. Let's see. Total. No, total's wrong. Value. Code number times robot, the length of robot 3 sequence. And then we'll print that. Print value. Pablo, you may be asked a tool. Thanks, man. You have a good day too. They may tell you there's nothing you can do, and that's. Or hold on. It's probably going to be something like directions on the second robot are flipped or something weird. I don't think this is going to increase the number of robots. You may be asked to take into account all the different sequences that could have lead to the same outcome, in which case math is your friend. Huh. Yeah, I'm always really interested to know like how part 2 is going to fuck me over. Because it always does. Okay, go test. So we should have, okay, 1972. And that's what they have here. Right? What's their code? 980 times 60. I kind of wonder if I need to use a larger integer. Let's see. Go max value integer can represent. So it can represent up to 2 trillion. Is that what that is? 2 trillion? So that might be enough, actually. I don't know how big these inputs are. All right, I think we have our solution. Now we just need to loop. So we're gonna keep a total, which is going to be 0 to start with, And then we're going to say for code in our input, we are going to basically do this. Calculate our robot sequences. Then we get our code number. And we multiply our code number by our final sequence length. Then we add that to our total, like so. And then finally we return our total. And our example code needs to go away. And this needs to become code. And this needs to become code. Yeah? All right, let's try to see. So we expect, what did we expect? Our 1, 2, 6, 3, 8, 4 is what we expect. So let's moment of truth, people. We're an hour, 2 hours into the stream and we finally got to a solution. This does not bode well for... Let's go, we did it. Let's try to run this on our full input. It ran pretty fast too. I'm surprised. Wonder how it's going to run on the second. Solve part 2. Expected, I don't know what the expected is, so I'll just set it to -1. And I'll do input.txt. Let's see, 1079,444, okay. Copy this. And we'll stick it into the answer box. Moment of truth. We need like a drum thing, like, you know, we need a soundboard. Let's go! Let's do it, man. Yes, dude, that feels so good. So almost all of our logic is just in that one function. I'm curious though, does the order matter? So remember how like I was doing all that funky stuff with the moves? I wonder if that actually matters. So all of this, do you guys think, I don't know if this actually matters. What if I just... like I almost wonder, what if we just made this the default case where we always prioritize vertical moves? Whoops. So, because my moves always start out as empty strings, right? So it's like, even if there's nothing here in the horizontal moves, it's not really a big deal, right? So I'm wondering if I go, I comment this out, and I comment this out, and I say, okay, if you're moving, if the vertical moves cross over the gap, then of course we want to go horizontal first, but otherwise we're just always going to do our vertical moves before our horizontal moves. Hold on, why is someone's complaining? I hate this aspect of Go. Like commenting stuff out means the program then doesn't run. So it does matter. It looks like we get longer lengths if we just always do that. Oh, because yes, in the cases where we have left moves, so let's say does vertical first corner equal gap position? Then we always do horizontal moves first. Hold on, let me just uncomment all the stuff I did. I was just seeing if there's a way I could simplify that logic because it looks uglier than sin. I mean, it's fine. I'm not going to waste too much. Let's see what part 2 does to us before we start trying to change stuff. There are some big optimizations on this one, pre-calculating or caching movements. Yeah, somebody mentioned that earlier in the chat. They said we could use like a lookup map to cache the moves, right? So if you see the same, if you need to go from the same start to the same end, you know what I mean? Like you should just look that up. Like use the start and end as keys, I guess, and then the direction as the value in your map. I wonder what part 2 does. Just as the missing historian is released, historians realize that a second member of the search party has also been missing this entire time. A quick lifeform scan reveals the historian is also trapped in a locked area of the ship. Due to a variety of hazards, robots are once again dispatched, forming another chain of remote control keypads of robotic arm-wielding robots. This time, many more robots are involved. In summary, there are the following keypads. There's one directional keypad that you are using. There's 25 directional keypads that the robots are using. And there's one numeric keypad that a robot is using. Okay, so it's basically the same shit. It's just now instead of doing it how many times do we have to do it? 3 times before? We have to do it 25 times? I thought, this is what I thought was going to happen. So technically there's, yeah, we need to do it 3 times. So we do it once with the directional and thrice for the robot. So I guess up here in our algorithm, we basically say we're always going to do it once with the num keypad, right? And then we're going to do a loop, and we're going to say for some num of robots, I guess. Range. In this case, it's just num of robots is 2. Whoops. Or then we just say I guess we can just do sequence, right? We can just have one variable sequence and then do sequence equals this. I think that's the same thing, isn't it? don't know. We'll run our test and find out. But I think that's the same thing. So we do the conversion once with the num keypad. That's me, the user. Then we do it twice more for each of the robots. Okay. No, negative. That's not the same thing. Hold on. Did I screw up something with my algorithm when I was fucking with the logic? Let me put it back to the way it was. Maybe I need to go uncomment some stuff. Yeah, I screwed up something down there in the logic, didn't I? Oh no, it's never mind. It should be that. Where's part one's answer? So that we know that's part one's answer, go test. And then now let's put this back to what we had. So we'll do, we'll just start with num of robots is equal to 2. And then we have arrange over the number of robots. We pick this out and make this our initial sequence. No, we leave that in. We make this our initial sequence. Sorry, I'm trying to. And then we say for range why am I struggling to refactor this so bad? We say for range over number of robots, and then we do sequence and we pass in the sequence. Then here we do this. It should be a reassignment. So then if we go test, we should pass still. Nice. Okay, so we're still passing. So now what we're doing is we're just changing the number of robots. That's all we're doing. Right? They didn't change the input on us or anything. But the answers, we're still calculating the same number. The sum of the complexities of the 5 codes on your list. Although, I think earlier it said 2. So we need to do 24. Or, sorry, 25. So I'm guessing this now causes our program to like run very, very slow. So let's do, the result just cares about the last sequence. Remember that optimization we talked about? Hold on, let me look. Let me read back your chat. In which case, well, to dash from is the key, and then movements is the value, and you do that for each robot. Oh, there you go. Remember the optimization we talked about? The result just cares about the last sequence. Yes, that makes sense. All right, see you, man. Got to go to work on my game. Yeah, see you, Artwork Studios. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate you sticking around for as long as you have. Okay, I'm going to make one attempt. I'm gonna make one simple attempt, and then if that doesn't go well, then I'll probably save this for another day. I do think this is going to be the last practice problem I do of admin of code. I think I'm going to take off now till December 1st and do like projects with Go on stream, just so that I give myself a break from doing these types of problems. I don't burn myself out before admin of code gets here. So let's do test solve part 2. But really, the solve, we can actually change this to just solve. And we can instead pass in the number of robots, in that case 2, and in this case 25. I don't know what the answer is here. Let's go to this definition. We will remove this guy, and we'll change that to a parameter. Num of robots. That. And I wonder if this will ever complete. Well, is it such a big jump in complexity that it will never complete? Let me make sure the test 2 still passes before we run, or part 1 still passes before we run part 2. Okay. Then let's undo that. And let's go test. I'm guessing this just hangs forever, right? This is just gonna go on and on and on and on. Yeah, this will run. Okay. Is there a way, Pablo? Is there a way I could calculate how long it would run for? I guess based on. So we need to. So this is where Pablo is talking about that optimization, where. So you're saying we should have a you're saying basically we should have a cache. That cache basically needs to be persisted from the very beginning of our program, right? Yeah, from the very beginning. So what do I want to cache? I want to cache key as robot to from. Value is the movement. Okay. Well, but what about robot? Oh, so that's just like the number, the robot number? Is that what you mean? Robot index, yeah. Okay. So we'll have a cache. I'm just going to call this a move cache or something. Move cache. And this will be a map of string to string, essentially. String to string. You don't want to mix the movements of 2 different robots. Okay, I'll trust you. And now we just need to pass this in. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do so this is gonna be R, right? Oh, I need to do. This actually works better recursively. Oh, really? I always avoid recursion. I just find it difficult to think about. But maybe this is more difficult to think about. Oh, I probably also want to cache the moves inside the for each code, right? Or do I want that to be outside of the loop? I think it can be there. And then we need to pass, basically we need to pass the robot and the cache down to this. Or maybe we return more information up to the top of our loop. No, I think we want to pass it down. Also want to, I kind of want to change the naming here. I'm going to convert this to convert code to moves. And this is going to be moves. And instead of direction, this will be move. So I think here in the convert code to moves function, we can basically do our loop. Before we call get move, we can do our lookup here before we call get move. So we can do something like let's see, move is just a string, right? Yeah. So we can say if, or we'll say move and is present, or is cached, and we can look at our move cache. And this will be our cache key. And based on what Pablo is saying, our cache key will be what? Our cache key will be we don't have that information here. We can't actually do it here. We have to do it in the get move function itself. So we do our cache key is effectively, how do you do a formatted, I guess I don't need to do a formatted string, but I'm gonna have a robot R plus, what did we say the key was? To and from. So we have R plus start position row plus start position column plus end position row plus end position column. Basically build up a string like that. How do you build a formatted string in Go? I don't know how to do that. The movements you want to cache are the final movements, not just this step. So say 09, you want to cache what the human had to do. Or 7A, you want to cache what the human did. So when you see that sequence, you can skip everything, but this changes your loop structure a lot. Well, okay, that's interesting. So I actually want to, I see what you're saying. So I want to calculate, or I want to cache. Hold on, is that what I want to cache though? Because I only have 5. Is that really going to speed it up that significantly? I don't know if that's what I want to cache. Right? Because like none of these really repeat that. Like 4 to 6, 4 to 8. I think I want to cache the I think I want to look at the directional stuff. No, but the second or third robot it does. Yeah. Yeah, but that's why I think I want to do it down at the individual move level. I think. I don't know. I'm making this shit up as I go. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna leave I'm gonna leave this as a to-do. So what do we want to do? So to do. We need to optimize this for, excuse me, for what? For a large number of robots, for large nums of robots. The idea is that if we are making a move from one place on a pad to another place, the idea is that if we are making a move from one place to another place on the same pad, we should be able to just reuse a previously calculated move. Yeah, that's what I think. I think if you just look at the pads and you say, I'm trying to go from 0 to 1, or from left to up, there's no reason I need to recompute that per robot. That's what I think. Rafe, I'm planning. Let's see. If you can just skip that single robot, then you will still have to continue iterating. Second or third robot, if you can skip down to the human, you save 24 steps. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm planning on learning Go. How's your experience with it? Do you think it's worth to learn for backend? So I haven't gotten terribly deep into the backend aspect of programming with Go. I've written a lot of Go code in the last 23 days, but I haven't built many backends. So I guess from that standpoint, it's like I don't know. I think so. I think that's actually when I'm going to spend the next 7 days, 8 days, basically till December 1st. I think I'm going to build some stuff with it. So maybe build. I've been in the process of building a links site, which is basically just like a static web server. It just serves static files. But I think I might build like a minimal API. Minimal API, that's a .NET thing. I might build a REST API with it and see how that goes. I'd be interested to see how you build like a worker process with it, right? How do you build something that you can just let run in the background? Might explore that. So I don't want to speak out of school at this point. I think I based on my experience so far with it in the 23 days that I've been writing Go, I think it could be a very useful language. And lots of things are already. I mean, the thing is, lots of backends are already built with it. So what I think is not really is not terribly important, right? It's like it's already proven that it's useful in backend scenarios. All right, guys. I think that's gonna do it for me. Good luck on the rest of the journey. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I don't know how much more I'm gonna do with Go beyond admin of code. It definitely hasn't supplanted C# or TypeScript as far as like enjoyable languages to work with. I'm glad I know it, but I don't necessarily think, given the choice or given the decision to build something for the back end, would I reach for Go over C#? Probably not at this point. Lots of startups use Go for backend. Oh, there you go. So yeah, so like there's definitely a reason to learn it in terms of like making yourself marketable or employable or hireable. But I think just personally, it still hasn't supplanted, other than just writing a different language just for shits and giggles. I don't think I would pick working with Go over .NET or C# at this point. But that's just me. I'm just a random 32-year-old dad living in Kansas, writing code in his basement at 7 o'clock in the morning. So take my opinion for what it's worth, which is not a whole lot. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that .NET is the best for backend from a lot of C# devs. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, the thing is, like, if you're at work and you're being forced to work in a tech stack, like, I get it, but like, I would think, or I would hope that if whatever tech stack you're actively working in is the one you want to work in, or the one that you think is most enjoyable to work in, you know? So, and a lot of what I do on this channel is not work related, right? So everything I do on my YouTube channel is because I want to do it. Because if I had to do it, then it wouldn't be fun to do, right? Well, I'm glad we got part one of that problem done. I'll figure out. I see what Pablo's trying to communicate, but I'm at the point now where I want to go upstairs and hang out with my family. So I'm gonna wrap up the stream and call it a Sunday. I'll be back. Obviously, I'm off all this week. Actually, I'm off. It's Thanksgiving break, so I'm gonna be here all week. The schedule will still be the same though. I'll still wake up early and do that, and then maybe there'll be some extra streams. I don't know. It just depends. We have some family who's coming to stay with us, so we'll see. It might get kind of crazy. But with that, I'll do my normal customary wrap up. Yeah. So if you want to interact with me or anybody in chat, like Mr. Pablo here, who's a very, very smart, intelligent human being and developer, you can find us in the Discord, which Stream Elements has kind of been pinging that link occasionally in chat, but I'll ping it one more time. Uh, Schedule wise, I kind of mentioned I usually stream pretty early in the morning. Pablo, nice. So no more AOC though. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do any more Advent of Code till December 1st. I think I'm going to just focus on building some actual like apps with Go. Like maybe I think it would be fun to build a CLI, a background worker, and an API. I think those would be three good projects that we could accomplish over the next 7 days. I mean, obviously they'll be simple things, but they'll at least they'll at least give me kind of exposure to how, excuse me, how to do those things in Go. And then we'll start back to Advent of Code on December 1st with the actual 2025 thing. Where was I? Oh, schedule. Yeah. So if you're new here and you're wondering, hey, when's this guy live? Just some background about me. I'm a 32-year-old dad. I have a full-time job. So I stream. The best time for me to stream for uninterrupted hours is early in the morning. So my schedule is typically 4:15 a.m. Central Standard Time to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then on the weekends sometimes I'll go later than 7 a.m. Just depends on what's going on with our weekend plans. So if you do see me live, stop in, say hi. I'd love to hear from you. If not, no worries. I leave my VODs up on my YouTube channel. They're always there. So if you want to go back and watch the live after the fact, you can do that. But yeah, that's pretty much the wrap up. And like I told Pablo just a second ago, we'll probably be doing some projects over the next couple days in Go. In December, we're doing Advent of Code, and then after December, we'll probably go back to a lot of .NET, TypeScript-y type of stuff. There's definitely some bigger projects that I have in mind that I'd like to work on, so maybe we do that. All right, that's that. I love Lamp. I see you in the chat. You have a good morning. I love Lamp. I'll talk to you later. Pablo, thanks for all your help again. Have a good day. Appreciate you. Rafe, I hope you have a good time learning Go or learning C#, whichever one you pick to learn. I hope you have a good time learning it. And anybody else who's still in chat, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys keeping me company and making the stream actually interesting. And I'll be back tomorrow morning. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Bye, chat. Have a nice, lovely Sunday. If it's Monday for you, have a nice Monday. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye. See y'all.